Once upon a time, in the village of Umudim, lived a man named Okezie. Okezie was a very hardworking man who had a tireless spirit. Before the cock crows in the morning, Okezie was already in his farm tilling the soil, sweat pouring off his body like rain. Yet he never felt tired till he was done. And because the gods reward diligence, Okezie's barns were always full. His yams grew big as a child's head. His goats multiplied. His palm trees dripped with red oil. And almost everyone in the village of Umudim had great admiration and respect for Okezie. Okezie loved his family so much, especially his wife Ifeyinwa. Ifeyinwa was a woman of great beauty, and Okezie worshipped the ground she walks on. Behind Ifeyinwa's great beauty, however, was a woman whose mouth never closes, whose tongue was sharper than a hunter's spear, whose nagging was like a swarm of mosquitoes that refused to die. Whenever Okezie gave Ifeyinwa money, no matter the amount of money, Ifeyinwa would complain about it. If Okezie bought her clothes, she would mock his poor fashion sense and choices. Ifeyinwa prides in using hurtful words to berate Okezie. She even does that in public places sometimes. The more she treated Okezie bad, the more Okezie strived hard to love her more and please her. But Ifeyinwa's tongue was like a pestle. It pounded Okezie and his self-esteem from morning till night. Even when Okezie slept, he dreamt of Ifeyinwa's voice chasing him like bees. Ifeyinwa treats Okezie like her houseboy, commands him every time like a servant, and Okezie continued to oblige her just to maintain the peace. Okezie was not allowed to talk to other women, even his cousins, as Ifeyinwa was suspicious of every woman that spoke to Okezie. "Shameless man!" screamed Ifeyinwa at Okezie one hot Saturday afternoon. She saw Okezie responding to their neighbor's greeting before engaging poor neighbor in a fierce battle. As the days went by, Ifeyinwa's wahala continued to grow wings. When Okezie's mother visited them, Ifeyinwa mocked her openly, called her an old hag, and chased her out of their home. When Okezie's friends visit them, Ifeyinwa will insult them and call them jobless drunkards who only came to squander her husband's wealth. Ifeyinwa turns even the smallest of issues into a full war in their home. She nagged over nothing and made Okezie walk on eggshells in their home. When Okezie tries discussing business with people, Ifeyinwa would always find a way of making them walk away from him and closing the business deals down. Okezie's wealth soon began to shrink. His barns emptied, his goats strayed, his laughter disappeared. All this didn't matter to Ifeyinwa. Okezie didn't want people who had respect and regards for him outside to know what he was passing through in his home. So he continued to put up a front and die in silence. Whenever Okezie tried to initiate a peace talk with Ifeyinwa, Ifeyinwa would start crying and twisting the story to make Okezie look like the bad person, which usually left him confused, while she would secretly burst out laughter. Sometimes, Okezie would decide to back up his anger with actions, like sleeping out of home for days, so that Ifeyinwa will understand his pains. But what he meets whenever he decides to go back home was always worse than before he left home. Most times he will return to utter disrespect from all his children. Ifeyinwa would brainwash them into disrespecting and mocking him, laughing at him and making jest of him. This usually tore Okezie's heart into pieces. One fateful day, Okezie returned home from work very late. He was so tired and very hungry. "Where are you coming from? Which woman's place did you go to?" shouted Ifeyinwa. Okezie ignored her and went to the kitchen to dish out some food for himself. Ifeyinwa gave him a dirty slap, took the food from his hands and poured everything on the floor. It was in that moment that Okezie knew in his spirit that he had had enough. So he stormed out of the house. "Better death than this," he muttered to himself while running. "Better silence of the grave than this endless torment of Ifeyinwa's tongue." Okezie walked deep into the forest with a rope in his hand. There he found a tall tree, its branches stretching to the sky. He tied the rope and prepared to end his misery. But just as he placed it around his neck, a voice cut through the night. "So this is how you choose to end, like a coward who cannot face his own mistakes?" Startled, Okezie looked around. An old woman, bent with age, but with eyes that glowed like the embers, stood before him. She leaned on a crooked staff, her wrapper ragged, but her presence powerful. "Who are you?" Okezie asked, trembling. The woman laughed. Her laugh was dry like crackling firewoods. "Who I am is not important, Okezie. What matters is that I know your story better than you do. You know, I have suffered. My wife has made my life so miserable. It is better I die. I have lost almost all I have. I am mocked every day. I have been abandoned. All I have has been destroyed. What crime did I commit? Why do I deserve this?" lamented Okezie. The old woman tapped the ground with her staff, and a mist swirled around them. Images danced in the air, and there before them was the image of Okezie's Wahala Wife, Ifeyinwa, and the image of another woman whose name was Ezinne, Okezie's first wife, the one he betrayed many years ago. Okezie was shocked. He fell to his knees in shame. "You brought this pain upon yourself, my son," the old woman said sternly. "You had a jewel, but you cast it away for a stone. You had peace, but you chased after fire. Did you not know that Ifeyinwa bewitched you? She locked your heart in a bottle, bound your soul to her own, commanding your every step and turning you against everyone who loved you, including your wife. Okezie gasped, tears streaming down his face. It happened that many years ago, Okezie was married to a virtuous woman named Ezinne. Ezinne loved and respected Okezie so much. She was soft-spoken, very hardworking, supported his dreams, and treated his family and friends as her own. One fateful day, Okezie was on his way back from his farm when he set his eyes on Ifeyinwa on their village pathway. Ifeyinwa's beauty shone so bright like the rainbows. Her eyes sparkled so dangerously, and Okezie was deeply lost in lust. His heart burned so badly, and all he wanted in that moment was to feel the warmness of Ifeyinwa's inner thighs. Okezie approached Ifeyinwa, and from that day onwards, he began sneaking around with Ifeyinwa. Ezinne cried and begged him severally to stop, but he was adamant. Okezie was deeply trapped in the pleasures of his intimate moments with Ifeyinwa, and not long after, he foolishly married Ifeyinwa as a second wife without informing Ezinne. After all, he was wealthy in all ramifications and could do whatever he wanted. So he thought. Ezinne, who was so heartbroken, had to leave their home with her kids for her peace of mind. And shockingly, Okezie didn't care and never bothered to look for them, not even for one day. At first, Ifeyinwa was so sweet. Okezie was moving from sweetness to sweetness, and he always wondered what even made him marry Ezinne in the first place. Ifeyinwa cooked him rich soups and blew his head away with love songs. This went on till she successfully birthed him 2 children. Then her change began, as a snake never hides its fangs for long. Nothing Okezie did pleased her anymore. She turned around and became his complete destruction. So I was not only foolish, said Okezie to the old woman. I was also enslaved? Yes, my son, the old woman nodded. Okezie started to cry. The old woman lifted her staff, struck the earth, and a small bottle sealed with cowries appeared, shaking violently in the sky. With one swing, the old woman smashed it. A strange mist escaped, and suddenly, Okezie felt a weight lift from his chest. His eyes cleared, his spirit lightened. You are free, my son, the old woman said to him. But freedom without wisdom will destroy you again. Go and seek forgiveness from the woman whose tears you ignored. Before Okezie could thank the woman, she vanished into the darkness. When Okezie returned home, Ifeyinwa met him at the door, ready with her usual insults. But this time, his voice thundered like the sky before rain. Enough! Pack your things and leave my house this very moment. Ifeyinwa's eyes widened in shock. She screamed and cursed him out, but her power was gone. She knew in that moment that her cover had been blown, so she packed her bags and ran away before morning. Okezie did not rest. He journeyed to the neighboring village where Ezinne lived in poverty, weaving mats to survive. He knelt before her, his pride gone. "My wife," he wept bitterly. "I wronged you. I cast you aside for misery. Forgive me. Return and let us rebuild together." Ezinne's eyes were filled with tears. For a long moment, she was silent. At last, she said softly, "Okezie, you broke me, but I never stopped praying for you. If truly you have learned, then I will return, not for your wealth, but for the vows we made under the eyes of God and our ancestors." And so Ezinne returned. With her wisdom and patience, Okezie's life blossomed once again. His farm flourished, his friends returned, his family forgave him. Peace settled again in his compound. As for Ifeyinwa, she wandered miserably from village to village, her beauty fading. Her name continued to be a curse on every tongue. This is the end of my story. The moral of this story is that what a man chases with lust, he often meets with tears. Do not cast away diamond for a stone, and never you mistake beauty for virtues. Thank you for watching.